channel. Now today we're going to be talking about the people that trade forex market. Okay, we're going to be talking about the people who trade the forex market that you and I have come to know it. Now here's a quick question: when you hear forex traders, who pops into your head? Is it a millionaire that is carrying a suit like someone in Wall Street, or a guy in a sharp suit staring at 20 monitors, or maybe a YouTuber who says that he has turned $100 into $10,000? Now, here's the thing: this involves all of them and way more, including you and I. The forex market is the biggest financial market in the world, and over $7 trillion is being traded every single day. And it's not just one type of person trading. This ranges from banks to government to businesses to people like you and I. Alright, everyone has a reason to be in the market. Today I'm going to be breaking it down in plain languages: who really trade forex, why they do it, and where you fit into in this big picture. You see that forex is not a mysterious game. It's an ecosystem where every player has a role. Now first, let's talk about the big players, the banks. I'm not talking about the normal banks that you know in your streets. I'm talking about banks like global giants like the JP Morgan, Citibanks, and West banks. Okay, now these guys, like the waves in the forest ocean, okay, they move billions every single day. They move billions every single day, here and now. Now here's how they work. If a Nigerian company wants to buy machine from Germany, they can't pay in naira, so they go to their banks. Their banks enter the forex market and buy euros for them. Now other times banks trade for profit. Okay, now these banks trade for profit. Now this is called speculations. They use their huge amount of money power to take advantage of every tiny bit price changes in the market. Think of it like this: if I were to trade $100 and make 1% profit, I'll just make $1. Alright, but if a bank were to trade $1 billion, that would be a whooping $10 million, just like that. So the banks are not just participants, they are actually the foundation of the forex market. Their trades create ripple effect that everyone else has to dance towards. Okay, now this is why the bank play a major huge role in this trading market. Now another set of people that are actually involved in this trading are the government. Now the government and the central banks are usually seen as the referees of this trading market. Now why do they step in? They step in actually to keep the currency stable. Let's use Nigeria as an example. If a naira starts crashing too fast against the dollar, the Central Bank of Nigeria might sell dollars into the market by increasing the supply of dollars. They then slow down the fall of naira gradually. On the flip side, let's say the naira is getting too strong and hurting exports, they might buy up a lot of dollar to weaken the naira by a little bit. So unlike the banks, central banks aren't here to actually make profit. They are here to keep the economy from going crazy. If $1 suddenly became 5,000 naira overnight, imagine the chaos. There's going to be things like imported goods will skyrocket, inflation will go wide, and business will actually collapse. Now this is where the government and the central banks actually come in place. Now that's why the central banks actually play a huge role, even if they don't actually trade every day and they do not actually trade for profit. Okay, now the next sector that actually play hands in trading are the business and company sector. Now let's talk about businesses, because a lot of people forget about this group when it comes to the forex market. Every single day companies operate internationally and need to trade currencies between the countries or wherever they are buying their goods from. For instance, Dangote wants to buy an equipment from Japan. He can't actually pay in nairas because Japan actually wants yen. Now this means forex. Or look at Apple, for instance, selling iPhones in Nigeria. Nigerians pay in nairas, but Apple collects their profit in dollars. Apple has to convert these Nigeria dollars through forex, and that is how forex trading has actually occurred. And it's not just them. Both things like Amazon, Toyota, Shell, Unilever, thousands of other big companies exchange money every single day. So even though they don't trade the normal traditional way for fun like you and me, businesses actually make up to massive parts of the global forex market and the global forex flows. Let's talk about the investors. Now this is another section of people that actually determine how the market actually flows. Now these investors, they are the big risk takers in the forex market. Now, these investors are the big risk takers in the forex market. Now, unlike businesses, these sectors they actually trade purely to make money. Sometimes they take huge positions, they shake the entire country's currency. Like for instance, a famous case in 1992, George Soros bet against the British pound. He was right and he walked away with over $1 billion profit in a single day. That shows you that this kind of power big investors can have in the forex market. So when you see sudden sharp move in the market, it's often not just the retail trader like us. It is these big funds people that are actually investing and moving billions in and out every time. Alright? Now, this time we are going to be talking about the retail traders. These are you and me. Now, finally, we have gotten to the retail traders, people like you and I. Thanks to technology, we can now log into our apps like MetaTrader, TradingView, deposit maybe $50 to $500, $100, and start trading currencies. Okay, now here's the reality. Retail traders only make up to 5 to 6% of the entire market. That's a small amount compared to the banks and institutions. But it doesn't mean we don't matter. In fact, it is the most relatable part of forex because it's open to anyone. The challenge is that most beginners usually tend to lose their money, not because forex is impossible, but because they jump in without learning. Alright, brokers even warn you over 70% of retail traders actually lose money to the market, despite the fact that a lot of flashy things here and there showing you how you can make money in the forex. But here's the good part. You don't need millions to succeed. With the right knowledge, practice, discipline, you can actually carve out your own space in forex market. Retail trading is proof that the giant market is open to everyone and not just billionaires in suits. So, to answer the question finally, who trade forex? The banks. The banks are the waves making the biggest waves in the market. The central banks are the government and the referees that keep things stable and preventing things from crashing out of balance. The businesses exchanging money to keep the global trade moving and keep the market going on. Now we have the investors. The investors are usually the big risk takers in the market. They trade for profit and get into this market to make huge amounts of money. Now the everyday people like you and I, the learning, practicing and finding our opportunities in order to make life easy for us with trading. The beauty of forex is not just one group, it is an entire ecosystem where every player has a role. In my next video, I'll break down why these groups trade the way they do and how knowing how they trade can help us as a trader in developing. If this video helped you to see forex clearly, drop a like, subscribe and tell me in the comment section which group surprised you the most. Is it the bankers, the retail traders, the investors or the government?